The client thought he had only 1 or 2 leaks in the garage. The roof is only 7 years old. And I thought, well, that's odd for 7 years old. It's a straight roof. There's no valleys, no weird penetrations, nothing. So it's odd for it to be leaking there. Second thought was, you know what? I'll bet the deck is bad. So I went in the garage, I looked up inside, and sure enough, he has what's called a Shiplap deck. We know what plywood is. We know what OSB is, large pieces. Shiplap can be different sizes, and they're actually independent boards. They're almost like interlocking pieces, and there's a gap that's in them. This house is really old, and when that house was old, those gaps were much, much smaller and tighter. Over time, as the house has aged, that wood has shrunk, and as it shrunk, those gaps have gotten bigger. They've gotten harder. The knots are starting to crack out. If you read manufacturers' installation instructions, they tell you you cannot put an architectural shingle over an old shiplap deck because it will leak. Climb up in there, I'm looking around the garage, and he's got a little hatch that goes into the rest of the house. And he goes, well, it's not leaking in there. I said, well, I'm gonna go in because I wanna take a look. And sure enough, I open up and he's got another leak, and another leak, and another leak, and I went all the way back. The whole house is leaking everywhere. He had no idea. And it's because this shingle was put over the wrong kind of deck. Now, he had done all of his research, he put a synthetic on there, he put a good quality shingle, but that doesn't matter if it's not done correctly. His other comment to me was, well, my old roof was an old 3-tab, and that thing was up there for 20 years and it never leaked over the shiplap. That's correct, because that type of shingle shed water better. Modern architectural shingles are built different. Their seams are close together. The water doesn't just flow off of them. If the water gets stuck inside one of those seams, turns up and underneath, that shiplap deck is unstable. It's got those big gaps. It works on the nails and gets leaks. When you have the 3-tab, there's great big gaps and the water's able to shed off better. That's why he wasn't experiencing that problem with his old roof. So unfortunately, this homeowner has a 7-year-old roof, and I had to stand in his kitchen today and tell him he needed a new roof because we can't fix this leak because there's so many of them. If we try to take off a couple of shingles and fix this repair, it may just move the leak over a foot. It's gonna move it, and then you're gonna work on another leak and then another leak. So when this roof is replaced, and it needs to be replaced, all the shingles have to come off, all that paper has to come off. And then I told him he needs to have a solid deck put down. Either plywood or OSB needs to go down over the top. The shiplap can stay there, but you need to put a solid deck over the top of that, then put the new roof on. So you just can't do repairs on a roof like that because we're just gonna keep moving the leaks.